I think it's fair to say TaylorMade aren't going to be too happy with Rory Mcilroy's remarks following his miscut at the Players just last week.
Yeah, I wish I didn't have to bet on a new driver. I wish I could just use the old one, but
especially the ones surrounding his new TaylorMade Stealth 2 Plus driver and the fact that, well, you heard what he just said. But is what he said being taken massively out of context? Is it correct? And is it just, well, an excuse? You see, I've been really fortunate this year. I've been able to get fitted for and test most of the new drivers on the market in 2023. Now, I'm not saying for 1 second that I strike a ball anything like Rory Mcilroy. In fact, it is a totally different stratosphere. But I must say, when I've tested the Stealth 2, I've kind of liked it. And you see, we all know as well that when these big name players sign contracts with club brands, it's very much a marketing exercise for those brands. We all see the adverts, we all see the numbers come up and the forgiveness hashtags, but the brands actually want to see, look at that, the brands actually want to see the players play well with these clubs. They want to see them win, they want to see them get up the world rankings. I mean, he wasn't world number 1, wasn't he? So couldn't really go up that much further. But this is quite an interesting story, you see, because Rory's kind of had previous of doing this. I remember his Nike days, I remember the golf ball, took ages to get into that as well. And I wonder if what he said has kind of been misconstrued a little bit by the mainstream media, and TaylorMade are kind of taking the wrath of it on social media, which isn't really what they want to be doing, because all that generally does is feed the rumour mill, which is neither founded nor correct half of the time. You see so many outlandish rumours on Twitter and Instagram saying his faces keep caving in, he keeps wearing the carbon down, all sorts of nonsense, which, to be fair, if it was true, I think there would be proof of it. I think TaylorMade would be a little bit more worried, especially when someone like Scotty Scheffler goes and wins the event anyway using that drive. There was actually a really funny meme going around of Scotty Scheffler trying to hold back a train. I can't remember what film it's off, but really, really cool film. I think it was Superman. Yeah. And as mentioned, I've been testing all the clubs that the market has to offer so far this year, and I've quite enjoyed the Stealth 2. I've really enjoyed the Stealth 2, I really enjoyed the Paradym Triple Diamond, and I've particularly enjoyed Ping's new offering, the G430 LS. But the marketing race is heavily between Callaway and TaylorMade, isn't it? TaylorMade have the Forgiveness campaign and Callaway have the Shift in the Game campaign with the Paradym and what Paradym stands for and everything like that. Obviously, these marketing campaigns do cost money, and a lot of them are heavily revolved around the tour players that they're going to work with. So Callaway are headed up by Jon Rahm, TaylorMade have Scotty Scheffler, they have Rory Mcilroy, they have quite a few players that are in the Stealth 2 or should be in the Stealth 2. Now, like I said before, Rory has always taken his time to move into the new product, and once he's got there, he's usually done okay, which is surprising. You might think TaylorMade would maybe just spend a bit more time on the fitting, not that they won't have done, because I'm sure they've been heavily invested in getting Rory into the right head. I can't see the head changing that much from the standard Stealth, because the standard Stealth was a fantastic driver as well, but maybe that's the problem. Maybe he's that at home with the Stealth, but the Stealth 2, it might even be something down to the gloss on top doesn't look quite right for him. Obviously, we all like feeling comfortable as golfers. We like consistency. We don't really like a lot of change. And I can imagine changing your driver by contractual agreement every year probably isn't the easiest thing to do, but I suppose don't take the money if that's not really what you want to do. But I'm going to have a bet with you guys now. I bet McIlroy wins this year with the Stealth 2 driver. And that's not because the Stealth 2 driver's head and shoulders above a Callaway or a Ping or a Mizuno or anything like that, but Rory's head and shoulders above most, isn't he? And I think as soon as he becomes comfortable with whatever it is that maybe he's not too comfortable with betting in the new Stealth 2, I think he'll be absolutely fine. Funnily enough, I actually hit... Oh, James, that is left. What is that? That is terrible. Funnily enough, I actually hit, I think the longest drive I've ever hit yesterday in testing. I was testing another big name driver, which I'm not going to say because it might ruin the video, against the TaylorMade Stealth 2. And at risk of ruining that video, I'll throw on this swing now using the TaylorMade Stealth 2. That is scary. On the line, quite literally, 164 ball, spinning at 2.4, very manageable. 286 carry, 308 total. Yes, please. You see, for me, those numbers are massive. 164 ball speed is definitely the highest ball speed I think I've ever had. And that carry distance to finish on the line, what more do you want? So for me, the driver is as good as anything. It's just maybe a case of, does anything need tweaking, does anything need adjusting? I'm sure Rory works with the best club fitters in the game at TaylorMade, so I'm sure that he's going to have all that accessible to him, and I bet TaylorMade are working hammer and tong to get it in his bag very, very, very soon. We all saw him win in Dubai using pretty much his 3-wood, the Stealth 2 3-wood, which is a fantastic golf club. I actually did a video on that and it did really well. You guys really enjoyed it. But he used the old driver. Now that wasn't really a problem because it was so early on in the season. As you start to get to the Masters time, I'm going to bet he's going to have that driver in the bag before the Masters. What a terrible shot with a wedge, by the way. And now, I don't know the exact facts on this, but obviously Rory did miss the cut, didn't he, at the Players at TPC Sawgrass. I think he had a bit of a shocker of a first round. And I heard that he was in a meeting, some kind of meeting regarding the PGA Tour. I think Tiger was there for like 6 or 7 hours. Now, who's played well after being in a meeting for like 6 or 7 hours? Who timed that meeting and took away his practice time? Because that could have been the difference between making the cut and obviously going home early. Oh, I love that. But back to the TaylorMade Stealth 2, because that really is what this video is all about. And I said it in my initial review months ago now, actually, and when I first saw it over in California. I like the fact they've stuck by the guns. I like the fact the face is still red. I like the fact it's still carbon. I like the fact they've just tweaked it where they feel like they can make it a little bit better, a little bit subtly better. And I think they won't admit this, but I bet they are slightly disappointed that it's not a huge change, yet now it's a big deal, if that makes sense. And I think what else makes this debate rather interesting is that there are quite a few players now who don't have club contracts. There's quite a few players who just choose the best clubs for their game. Imagine that. But a lot of those are actually choosing the TaylorMade Stealth 2. I saw pictures of Bryson using one the other day. I've seen pictures of numerous golfers on the Live Tour using them who don't have the contracts anymore. And the only reason they're going to use this club is because it suits them, because it's the best club for them, and because they like how it performs, funnily enough. They don't really care how it looks or how it sounds, I imagine, not most of them. I do care how a club looks and sounds, and I must admit I've got no problem with how this looks or sounds. I'd love to get my hands on one of the kind of My Stealth ones, I think that's what it's called, those kind of different coloured ones. But my favourite colour's red anyway, so it doesn't really bother me that it is red. Come on, let's have one of them big ones. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, big fade off the lake into the middle of the fairway. Yes, please. You see, if you've not tried one of these yet and you are looking for a new driver this year, it's probably going to be one of the first ones you go for, isn't it? It's going to be this, maybe the Ping, maybe the Cobra, maybe the Callaway. But most people do still consider TaylorMade to be the #1 driver brand of them all, even if the head covers are slightly annoying to get on. So, does it really matter that the world #1 or now the world #3 is taking a little bit of time to bed into it? Because Rory's human, and if you're winning with a club, it's obviously going to be like, I'd really rather not take that out because I'm playing really well with it, I'm world #1 and I'm winning. But that's not to say that he's not going to put it in, is it? I don't know. This is just me thinking as a golfer more than anything. Like, for me, the be-all and end-all here is that a ball nicely in the middle of the fairway when it's not really a hole I'm comfortable on, and I've got about 150, 160 yards in, especially into the wind, because I don't really like drives into the wind, and yeah, you can see that it's still winter here in the UK. We'll move that out of the wet. But does it matter about the marketing of the tour players? Do you even pay attention to that? Is it something, what do I need here? 7? Is it something that you overly pay attention to, or is it something that you think, oh, good for him, he's using Titleist, he's using TaylorMade, he's using Callaway, he's using Ping? It doesn't really bother me what he uses, just hope he plays his best golf. I think this might be a 6, you know. Thinking of that wind and factoring it in. Oh, I think that's so good. Stay there. I've got covered in mud now, though. Oh. Oh, God. Oh, I've got a white hat on as well. Well out, sir. Actually, that's really good. I think it's going in the bunker as well. Oh dear. So guys, are you one of those people who do care about the marketing? Do you like to see what people are using? Could you not care less about what people are using? And is it more evolved around your game and what driver is going to suit you the most? Because that's exactly what it should be. You should go and get fitted. If you want to use a TaylorMade driver, that's great. Make sure you go and get the right one. Make sure you either get the Stealth Plus, the Stealth 2, the Stealth 2 HD. Make sure you get the right setup, the right shaft, the right loft, the right weight setting, the right grip size. All these things are going to play a huge part in you playing your best golf. Not what Rory's using or Tiger's using or... Oh dear, look at what you've left yourself here. But just to reiterate a little bit of a point, rigs all the way over here, I would think of looking at what the uncontracted players are playing. If you are bothered about what the world's best players are playing, then it shouldn't really make a difference to you, because get fitted for what suits you. Right. Lovely. And a lot of you guys keep messaging me asking exactly which putter, I've got a putter in there, exactly which driver I'm going to use this year, and I never really decide until probably the end of this month, until probably the week before the Masters. I don't play like any real golf at this time of year. I just like to make the videos, like to bring you guys the club reviews, and I like to test everything. There's nothing wrong with taking your time in changing your driver if that's what you want to do, especially if you're world number... Oh, slipped by as well. Especially if you are world number 1 or world number 3. I mean, I'm world number nothing, but it's still important to my game that I use the right driver that I enjoy using and that performs for me. Obviously, enjoyment is higher up in my list of priorities than someone like Rory Mcilroy, but it's still quite important, I imagine, for you guys watching at home. Right, let's send one last bomb with this Stealth 2. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it's made you think a little bit about watching the top pros, seeing what they use, and then think about what you should use as well. I just feel like after hitting that drive the other day in the studio, 286 carry, 308 total. Yes, please. I'm forever chasing that ball speed, that spin rate, and that line ball. Really excited to see exactly what I am going to put in the bag this year as well. It's not something which I tend to rush, as I've just explained, but come on, nice big draw round the corner, and this could be something special. Oh yeah. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that. If you have, smash that subscribe button below. Apart from that, I'll see you all exactly the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.